everyone. How about a big round of applause for Terry Notary? Hello.
Hi there. How are you?
All right. I'm great. So, guys, questions. Here we go. Microphone, cues, and then we have A's. There we go. You can go that way. They're so polite. He's going all the way around. Hello.
Hi.
Hi there.
So I guess I just have the most obvious question. What is it like being Groot?
Well, I pulled it from my kids. So I have 12 and 14-year-old girls. So I'm like working on that,
Okay.
the whole brooding teenager thing. Then kind of resorting back to what, thinking back to when I was a kid and how, what I put my parents through. And yeah, it was pulling from being a kid and really just going back to trying to have this honest innocence and this sort of brooding adolescent growth thing happen with him. So he has an arc. I wanted him to have a little bit of an arc in the show. And meet up with Thor and find himself in that through that character and buddying up with Thor. That was when he kind of found his purpose. And every kid has that, when they hit about 14 or 15, they find something that they can sort of latch onto and see as their mentor. And so Thor's his mentor, and he sort of finds himself that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Who is your favorite motion capture? What was your favorite character that you motion captured for?
I think my favorite motion capture character I've ever played is Rocket on the Planet of the Apes films. He's the best version of myself. Is really what he is.
Right.
So when you're playing an ape, what I've found when I'm training the actors when you're playing an ape is when you imitate an ape, it doesn't look good. It doesn't work. When you play an ape, it doesn't work. So we had to go back to the drawing board and really realize that we're animals just like apes are. We're so close and similar to apes that we really just had to figure out what it was that made us human. And what are those things? What are those social conditions? What are those things and those? And I found that a lot of the things that make us human is this sense of identity and who we are and who we, our name and our status and our place in this world and how we function. And if you take all that away and you just sort of let it all kind of wash away, all the unimportant stuff, just kind of dissolve away, you're just this base, open, innocent, honest animal.
Right.
And that's what an ape is. And so once we realized that, it was kind of, we went back to the drawing board and said, we need to stop playing apes. We need just to be really deep-rooted, grounded human beings. And then the performances really came to life then. And that's what Rocket was for me. So I feel like I found out a lot about myself playing that character, and I've had to be honest with myself playing that character.
Right.
And so it's the most fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. I know you heard of the new villain in the Avengers, right?
Yeah, Cole Obsidian?
No, Thanos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who would win the
Thanos.
fight? All the Power Rangers versus Thanos?
I don't know. I think Thanos he'd have an advantage. Yeah. Although the Power Rangers might give him a good fight. It might be a good 5-minute fight sequence. Maybe you could get him pinned and you could they could team up and do some good karate moves on him.
Yeah.
But I think Thanos would ultimately win.
I don't know. The Power Rangers got their Megazords and stuff.
Okay, you're gonna bring the Megazords? Hey, okay, now we got a real fight sequence. We could actually make a movie out of this.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
We'll talk. Hi there.
Hi. I saw that you were on Warcraft as Gromish Hellscream. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Did you play Warcraft or World of Warcraft before getting into that?
No, no, I didn't. I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, really?
They hired me, and I came in, and the producers were like, "So how much do you know about Warcraft?" And I said nothing. So they gave me all the games and the people that knew all about it, and I watched the games, and I didn't understand it. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, literally.
You know, I'm like, okay, we're gonna create this world. It was so we wanted to pay homage to the fans, and so I talked to a lot of them, and about the characters and the history and all that stuff, and what I wanted to do with that film is really make this bring weight and gravitas to the characters. I mean, they're so massive without letting them be just hulking, unintelligent creatures. You know, they had to be thinking, feeling, emotionally connected beings. So it was finding that balance between the massive, strength and gravitas and the intelligence. That was kind of the challenge. But hopefully we did a decent job.
That's awesome. Yeah, I liked it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
So clearly a lot of emotional energy goes into what you do, and also the research you're talking about that you have to do for roles. Can you talk about the physical aspect of it? Because that's huge for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, when I'm working with an actor on a character, what I like to do is look at the person's blueprint that they bring to the character first, because everyone has their own blueprint of history that you carry with you from your past history. And so if you can come to terms with, a lot of it's about fear, and fear blocks and creates tension, and tension is bad for actors. That's like the worst thing that you can. And fear can be your enemy, or it can be your best ally. So it's really what we work on is the ability to turn fear into energy as an actor. And so you're going to feel fear, and all the best actors, they feel fear. They feel it, and they have to, otherwise you're not alive. What they do is they allow it to propel them into action. And so that's one of the things we work on a lot, is identifying with what makes you feel tension and a fear. And it can be triggers, little things that from anything, it can trigger a moment of, and if you start to fight it and go, I shouldn't feel fear, I should be perfect, I'm an actor, I should be, then the fear actually gains power, and it gets more powerful, and you'll lose. You're going to lose, and you'll end up messing up. And then the fear goes, told you you're going to mess up, and it proved you right. So, anyways.
That is interesting advice for life in general, I feel
Yeah,
like.
it is.
To
It
kind
really
of harness
is.
it instead of fighting.
So the best actors out there are the ones that feel fear, so they have a lot of energy. They have that propulsion and that fuel.
Yeah.
But they know how to not let it overwhelm them and tighten them up, so that they become a victim of the fear. Yeah. And so that's one of the things we work on is that. Then the walk, we'll do sitting in a chair and breathing exercises and standing out of a chair exercise. I'll work with them standing and sitting out of a chair, and from that exercise you can really see how much control you have and how much you want to control how you do things. And then once they can relinquish the control and just allow themselves to be fluid and flowing and effortless with the mind-body connection, because the mind wants to go standing from a chair. It wants to think the action. But if you're thinking the action, you're not feeling the action.
Right.
And when you can take the technique and turn it into a soft mind-body connection, then you can move well. And so that's the trick to when I'm working with actors, is to get them out of their heads, really, and to allow the mind to. Mind is like a naughty little kid. It wants to be in charge, and it wants to know what's happening. So it'll kind of create tension. But if you can allow the mind to soften and become part of the body, then you move better, and you're able to use the mind as a guide rather than this control.
Oh, wow.
unit.
This is great
Yeah.
advice.
So anyways,
Wow.
that's the work we do when we're creating characters, because everybody has their own blueprint that they bring, and if you don't understand how to create a neutral body, then you end up playing the same character in different costumes all the time.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's how we start. And then, once they have a neutral body, then you're not bringing tensions that are not right for the character, but you can create them and you can bring them in and you can go, okay, now this character had this happened in their past, so they have tension here, or they're head driven, or they're neck driven, or they're back driven. You know, what drives the character? What cadence do they have? Do they walk in a 4 count? Do they walk in a 3 count? Are they a 5 count? So it feels like there's never
Can
quite
you
an
explain
end.
what that is?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a sense of completion to a walk, you can go like, that's like a heroic landing.
That's the coolest walk I've ever
That-
seen.
You can have a heroic landing where you feel this sense of completion, but if you want to create a villainous sort of character, you can have like, and you leave them hanging, so there's no sense of completion to the character. Or you can have a character that has no beginning, no middle, and no end. It sort of drifts, you know. So there's all these kind of cadences that you can work on that affect you emotionally, but without you knowing it. And so what you want to do when you're creating characters is not spoon feed bad, you know, the bad guy or the good guy. You want to feel it like without knowing what you're seeing. So you
Right.
go, wow, that was cool, but I don't know why, you know? It's like everyone's seen these like 3-point, you know, superhero landings, but that's like my worst nightmare, you know, is that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, don't do that, you know, because everyone comes in, they want to do something cool, but then it's all about just, you know, it's all about you. But if you do the cool thing, I say, okay, do the cool thing, and now just soften and just make it you, and just let all the pretense and all the self-awareness dissolve away, and make that thing more important than you, and you disappear. If you make that thing out there more important than you, you end up disappearing, and you become beautiful, and you become good at your performance. It's the most amazing thing I've learned with the actors that I work with, is when they disappear into their intention out there, they go away and they become amazing to watch. They become interesting. Yeah.
It's so funny how much thought goes into every movement, but then you also have to let it go.
That's it. You have to learn. It's like learning how to ride a bike.
Right.
You go, okay, pedal here and steer, and then all of a sudden you're just watching where you need to go.
Right.
And your intention is not into the bike, it's there.
That's
But
so
if you
cool.
put your intention back in the bike, you'll end up getting wobbly and tense again.
Right.
It's an amazing thing. It's just like acting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. What was it like to fight yourself in The Incredible Hulk?
It was great. I had a buddy who was playing the opposite character when I wasn't playing the other one. And Laura Chatrani was a great, same size as me, super tough, and we just ended up beating each other up. And when we did the fight sequences, we tried to choreograph the fights into like moves and do like 5 or 6 moves, and then we marry the moves together. But it didn't look right, so we just said, dude, we just have to fight each other for real. We have to really throw each other around and just go for it. And so we actually fought each other as hard as we could without really hurting each other, but just didn't know what the next move was. And that was the stuff that made it in the film, was the things that we, you know, you couldn't choreograph, because the choreographed stuff felt choreographed. So, yeah. The rolls and all that stuff, taking out the cars and, you know, just all the punches and all that stuff were all just okay, here comes a punch. You know, I'm going to react to it. So, yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Hi there.
I'm Marcy, and I've
Nice to meet
noticed
you.
that you seem to have, you have a lot of advice for people who are becoming actors, but it seems like a lot of it flows over to life and everyone. And so I was wondering, have you ever considered writing a self-help book?
You know what? I have, and I've had a lot of requests from that. It's funny enough. And the first thing I tell actors when they come to work is it's not about the movie. This is not about the movie. It's about you. It's about your life. It's about learning about yourself and getting to know who you are so that you become a better actor and the movie benefits. So everyone wins. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be in the business, because it's the most rewarding part of my job is working with actors, and I see the spark inside them go, oh my God. I'm like, you see it? Allow it to continue. One of the things I work with actors that's the most rewarding for me is when I see them open up and become vulnerable and allow themselves to feel, because actors are like musicians. They have an instrument, a vehicle of communication that emits energy. All we do is emit and receive energy. We're energy emitters and receivers. And so people feel your energy, and they can vicariously live through you by feeling that energy. They can put themselves into you, and they can live that. They can live through that energy and experience it. And in order to be a good player of your instrument, you have to have a clean instrument. You have to know how to tune it, and you can't bring 3 chords that you know how to play and think they're going to play for the next character. You need to learn how to play a diverse, amount of chords and melodies and rhythms and cadences and so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That part in Kong Skull Island where Kong fights the giant octopus, was that a reference to the first Kong movie in the 1930s?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Good. Huh.
Very cool.
What was your favorite part about playing Kong?
My favorite part about playing Kong was discovering the walk. I finally discovered that walk. It took me a long time to get who he was. It took me a while to dial into it. But he was this 14-year-old kid who had lost his family, who had the weight of the world on his shoulders. And once I found that, it was it. That was it. It was this weighted, heavy, just not depressed, but suppressed. He was, and in order to, and it gave him somewhere to go, which was nice. You start there, and it gave him this little crack that the light could shine in, and he could actually awaken and find himself and have his arc, which is coming. So, yeah. So it's the beginning of his reawakening, really, or awakening.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers. Hi.
Hi, how are you? In Infinity War, what do you think about the ending? The ending, did it shock you? How did it felt that it should have ended? Do you think it ended correctly?
Well, I do, because it's setting a whole world up for the next one. So I wish I could tell you more.
And if you wanted it a good ending, how do you want it to be?
Well, I always want the bad guy to lose, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I'd like to see Thanos die, but I don't know.
All right. That's cool. Call Obsidian.
I want to see Cull Obsidian come back. That's all I want. Can you help me out with that? Maybe write a letter to the director?
We can start that here.
Yeah.
Will you ever make a Kong and Godzilla crossover? What's your biggest anticipation?
I'd like to see the fight, and I'd like to see them actually not be able to defeat one another. That's what I'd like to see.
Mothra,
And then
maybe.
Yeah. And then they have to team up. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Not like a Batman v Superman thing.
Yeah, teaming up with Godzilla would be
All right.
awesome.
Thank you.
you.
Did you have a question?
You kind of have this Zen-like calmness and centerness. Do you have a workout regimen or a meditation regimen or something that enables you to just be fluid?
I'm actually a very nervous kind of person. I'm not very zen, but I work on it a lot. I try to go to that place that I work on with actors, and it's one of those things where it's just daily, hourly practice for me. I try to just go back to this neutral and not get up in my head. Because we as human beings, we are so conditioned to get up here and just ping pong the same ideas back and forth. And that's like the worst thing for actors, is when you start to get in your head and all of a sudden you're thinking and bing, 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 bing. But if you think of your mind, it's a simple exercise. And you take this as a homework assignment if you want. Think of your mind as a muscle. And if you just allow it to sit in a hammock and soften, you'll find the muscles behind your eyes softening, and your face and your throat and your center, the spear center here, will start to sort of undo. And you'll find that the mind taps into the wisdom of the body. The body has so much wisdom. It feels everything. It's what instinct is. You feel it in your body. And when we worked on the Apes films, it was about getting back to understanding what instinct and understanding the wisdom of intuition and instinct that we feel, rather than hard analyzation of the mind that is a narrow peripheral. You widen your peripheral with your mind-body soft connection. And I try to do that. And it takes a lot of work but constantly checking in. But I've got a lot of work to do.
Wow.
Do you know how tall Kong grows per year?
He's still growing, and he eats a lot. So I'm imagining he's about 4 to 5 feet
A year?
I'm thinking, because he's 14 years old, so he's a baby. He's still growing. I mean, he's gonna probably peak around. He's at 80 feet now, so he's probably gonna peak around 120.
Isn't Godzilla taller than that, though?
Yeah,
Like a lot?
a lot. So, but it doesn't matter. Height doesn't matter.
Kind of.
Savviness.
That's right.
Godzilla's got atomic breath.
So you must get hurt sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so I'd like to hear a little bit about that. And
Okay.
also, do you have to carry special insurance for that?
Well, I mean, you're insured on the film. Anytime you're on a movie, you're insured, obviously. And we do get hurt, but that's part of the business. You tape it up, you make it go. And yeah, I mean, we do try to be very, very careful with the actors, especially. Mm-hmm. Whenever there's a stunt, like if I had to jump off the thing here, I wouldn't have an actor jump off that stage. Mm-hmm. Unless there was a mat and a spotter and they had practiced it, even though they're athletic. Like Josh Brolin is a super athletic guy. If he was hopping down off of a table or something, I'd be there to spy him. You don't want to get anyone hurt. So that's what stunt guys are for.
Yeah.
And so anytime there was a stunt.
Worst injury for you?
Yeah, worst injury for me, I dislocated my knee, broke my ankle,
Oh, no.
dislocated this elbow. So I've done dislocated almost all my fingers.
Oh, no.
Just from.
And you just put tape on it and just keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Fingers, yeah. Dislocated elbow, knee, no, that was a bad one. My foot was back here.
Oh.
I was looking at it like, somebody help me.
Whose foot is that?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was a
no.
painful one.
What was that project?
That was a gymnastics injury. I did a double back on floor. And did a round of flip-flop double back without warming up, and kicked out and landed on one foot and ended up on the floor exercise looking at my foot like that. But
I
yeah.
should learn never to not warm up again.
Exactly.
Terrible way to learn that lesson.
So I was mostly just wondering kind of like how you feel that mocap differs from either other forms of acting or other forms of things like stunt work and things like that.
It has there's nothing different about it at all. And that's what, like, for example,
Awesome
Josh
to hear.
Brolin was going to play Thanos, and I was working with him, helping with his character, develop it. And he said, "So what do I do? How am I going to do this different?" I'm like, "There's nothing different you do. It's the same acting as when you're, playing in Sicario and you're being doing that character, but totally different. Now you're playing something that's not human, so you got different mindset, different drive, where you're driving from. So it was about really giving him a thickness that he didn't have. He tended to walk kind of tight, and so we elongated his walk. We made him thicker, and we made him travel through thick space. He was driven from the back, so he was always back here, looking from back out. He never played in the front body until he had those emotional moments where he really kind of came forth, and you were like, "Whoa, I can see the man in him," like when he talks to Gamora and stuff like that. So we'd see the dissolve happen to the front body, and so that was like, we wanted him to be very human and right in his idea. So he wasn't playing a bad guy in his mind. He was playing someone who was going to help the universe. He's going to do something right. And so he never played any bad intention, unless he was fighting or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's all the easy stuff. It's the subtle stuff that he wanted to play something where he was very resolute in what his objective was, and it was for the good of man, right. and he stuck with that. Yeah.
It's really cool to hear you talk about like that he was playing everything from back here,
Mm-hmm.
and just the emotion, because that never would have occurred to me until you said it, and then I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
That's
Picture
really cool.
It gave him an internal sort of dialogue that was always happening that made you go, "Whoa, what is he thinking? What's he thinking? What's his drive? What's coming?" And then he never would soften to the front body and give himself until those right moments. There was like 3 or 4 moments in the movie where you go, "Okay, I feel the softness of this character now. I feel the heart of him."
That was cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi there.
Were you
I can hear you.
were you sad when Groot disappeared in Infinity Wars?
I was. I was actually crying in that scene. Yeah. I was sad. I was like,
We all
"But
were."
wait, am I really dead? What's happening here?"
It's like
Yeah.
his favorite.
Yeah. Aw. Yeah. It was a good moment between Groot and Rocket, And when I said, "I am Groot," I said, "Dad." So
Yeah,
it was
I
like,
know.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. Yeah.
Because he thinks Rocket is his dad.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a bittersweet. But it was a nice summer day in Atlanta on a beautiful outdoor location, and it was very comfortable, so it was a nice place to die. It was slightly shady and a little breeze. It was nice.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Cheers.
Thanks. Any other questions?
When your arms got cut off?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was fun. 'Cause Thor was there. That was cool.
I mean, you saved him.
Yeah. That was actually my favorite scene to play for Groot.
Pretty cool. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
You seem like you've enjoyed working with everyone that you have in the past, as well as all the characters that you have done.
Mm-hmm.
But as we all know, it's not a perfect world. So who was the most difficult to work with?
Oh, boy.
We're not going to tell anyone. Go ahead. You can let us know. What's up.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I'll tell you, the most famous people that are the ones that come from theater are always the best ones to work with because they know the process of how much work it takes to get a character right. And the most challenging actors are the ones that are famous from one thing, that are freshly famous, because they don't quite know they don't want to let go of that thing that they're famous for. And it's my job is to give them the confidence to let go of that thing that they've become famous for and go, oh my God, I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to put a different costume on. This is freaking me out. And so they want to bring all that stuff with them. They want to bring those tricks. And I'm like, no, don't bring the tricks. Those are the tricks from the other thing, you know? Have the faith
Stay
that you're
focused
going
on what
to
I'm
actually
showing
be
you,
able
yeah.
to grow as an actor.
Yeah.
And so those are the most challenging ones, but they come around.
Great.
It takes time.
Great, thanks.
Mm.
Careful with this one. I'm married.
All right. Since Legendary owns Godzilla, King Kong,
Yeah.
along with Jurassic Park and Pacific Rim, what are the odds of those ever crossing over?
Ooh. That was a question. Did you have a question last night? Okay. No, someone asked me about a Pacific Rim crossover. You did. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know, but I think it's a cool idea. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool idea, you know? And I know Thomas Toll, who just sold Legendary, but he's still the producer.
Mm-hmm.
I can pitch that idea to him if you want me to.
I do.
Okay. It will cost you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Godzilla, King Kong, and the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park would be awesome.
You did gymnastics. What else have you done physically to prepare for your roles?
Well, I did gymnastics for 15 years, and then I did Cirque du Soleil for 5 years after that.
wow.
So I played characters in that, and then ever since then, it's been about really staying on my arm extensions. I've been running around on my arm extensions, and I'm developing a workout program called iQuad Fitness, and it's a low impact full body workout on your arm extensions, and it's amazing. All the guys on my Apes films have been like freaking out because they're like, this is the best workout I've ever had, and it doesn't hurt your body. So, and I'm 50 years old now, so I can't run like I used to, and the arm extensions are really nice. So that's the workout. The arm extensions are these they're like 12-inch arm extenders that we use when we play Apes, and so you're running around on all fours, quadrupeding, and it's amazing. Yeah, so I'm developing a whole workout program. I'm gonna market it.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about the Cirque du Soleil experience. Mystere is my favorite of all the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
And I don't have a specific question about it, but I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit about that.
Well, I was in the original cast of Mystere.
Yes. I
Yeah.
read that.
Wow.
And you're part of the development of it,
Yep,
is that right?
Yep. They had 15 of us went to Montreal, and I was a gymnast at UCLA. Then I went to audition right as I was about to graduate, and it was 2 days, 8 hours each day. It was crazy. The audition was crazy. So I made it, and they said, "You want to go to Montreal and become part of the troupe maison?" And it's 15 of us would create all the characters and come up with all the stuff with the director. And I'm like, yeah. So we went for 9 months and learned how to do teeterboard, Chinese poles, fast track, trampoline, played drums, taiko drums. So we had a guy from Poland teach us teeterboard. We had a Japanese taiko team come and teach us Japanese taiko drums. Chinese pole people come from China. It was like, you know, the best training ever, and it was intense. It was harder than gymnastics training, really. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Yeah.
And we did character creation and jeu and voice, and we'd start with in the morning with Pilates, and we went, you know, for 8 hours each day, for, you know, and it just transformed my whole life, really, because I went from gymnastics, which is very military regimen, to learning how to perform and learning how to like be present and create a character.
So you felt like it was kind of a springboard to the things you do now?
Absolutely, absolutely. I take a lot of the stuff that I learned from Cirque and apply it to the actors. Yeah, I mean, the first day we had to strip down into our underwear and be totally like, he's like, you are now babies. Forget everything you know. You are going to relearn everything you know. I was like, wow, okay. And then we had to cradle one another like babies. Wow. And I was teamed up with this big stinky Russian guy. I was like, oh. You know, he had a bottle of vodka and 2 steaks for breakfast. And we just like looked into each other's eyes, and we were baby. I was a baby. He was taking care of me. And I was like, okay, we're in this. We're going for this.
That's awesome. Wow. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Who was your favorite actor to work with in Infinity War?
Well, Mark Ruffalo is a darling, awesome person. He's amazing, and I helped him with Hulk. We worked together for the whole time, and I just love Josh Brolin too. He's just a total dude, and he's just like really, he's like the real man's man, you know. He'll go for anything, he'll do anything, and you almost have to like hold him back a little bit because he wants to do his own stunts, and you know, so
Cool.
They're both wonderful people. But Mark and Josh.
Cool.
What did your fake script from Infinity War say?
A lot of things. It was like, really, this is happening? They're like, no, that's not a real script. So we just kind of went in every day and got new pages every morning, and you just sort of go, oh God, I got to relearn all this stuff. So
yeah, I heard that they gave everyone, all the cast members, fake scripts.
Everybody.
And
Yep.
they gave Tom Holland a really, really, really fake script.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Every morning was like learning lines as fast as you could. But luckily the setups were so big that we had a good hour and a half, 2 hours after our initial dress rehearsal or walkthrough, and then we could go run back and learn our lines.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have a dream role or like a story that you really want to portray?
I have a film that I'm going to direct next year. That's my dream. Yeah, and it's an amazing story. I can't say what it is, but I've got an amazing cast of people that I love working with. Andy Serkis is one of them. He's going to be a star in it, and he's amazing. He's my really dear friend, and he's one of the best actors I've ever worked with. So he's going to be the lead. And I've got a couple of other really amazing actors that I love working with that can handle the workload that's going to entail.
Physical workload?
Physical, and it's out in the elements, so it's
Wow.
real. It's a real movie about survival in the snow. So it's they'll be able to handle it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
So should we follow you on Twitter or other social media to watch out for this?
Yeah, Instagram.
Instagram? You're
Mhm.
big
It's
on
coming.
Instagram. So what is your Instagram?
It's Terry Notary.
There you go. It's pretty easy to remember. And you'll be...